Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Wingate Solutions. I hope you're doing well. Today's video, we're going to be doing some accuracy testing on the Ballistic Advantage Premium Series Hanson Profile 16-inch. This is the 223 Wylde Black Series version. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, before we get into the accuracy testing, I'm going to talk about these barrels for a second. So I have no affiliation with Ballistic Advantage at all whatsoever. I bought these barrels with my own money. I've had quite a few of their barrels over the years, specifically their Hanson profile barrels, because I really like the feature set they come with. I like a medium tapered barrel. I don't like government profile barrels unless it's like a budget rifle and it comes with a government profile barrel already. I'm not going to purposely buy anything that has that kind of profile. I like a taper, so I want a heavier amount of material towards the back of the rifle, towards the receiver, and I want it to taper and get skinnier as it gets towards the muzzle. I don't like government because they are typically thinner underneath the handguard and then they have a lot more meat out front. Doesn't really make sense at all, but usually cheaper rifles are going to come with government profile barrels. They work, there's nothing wrong with them, but if I'm going to be shopping around for a barrel specifically, I'm not going to choose that profile. I'm going to be looking for something that has some kind of taper barrel. So there's a lot of different companies now making them. For a long time, Ballistic Advantage, the Hanson series was kind of the go-to because there wasn't that much popularity of this style. But now there's a ton. You can look into the Roscoe barrels. Criterion obviously makes really good barrels. They're really popular right now for good reason. I really want to get my hands on one of those to do some testing. BCM makes their enhanced lightweight, where that's a 625 gas block version, where it's almost like a pencil barrel, but it has just enough meat further back towards the chamber to give it a little bit more rigidity. So to me, that's important. The Hanson barrels come in the 625 gas block and also the 750 gas block sizes, which that's what I use. So the 750 is going to be more of a standard weight barrel, but again, it's going to be balanced a lot better because that weight's going to be back further here. I just like that style. Some of the other cool features that these Hanson barrels come with is the pinned gas block. I really like pinned gas blocks, so being able to get a gas block that already comes pinned for that barrel from the factory and still isn't going to break the bank, to me, that's a huge win. Because pinning the gas block and then also having the set screws underneath for added security of that really, in my opinion, is the best style of gas block mounting you can have. So I really like that feature. So I've had a lot of Ballistic Advantage Hanson barrels over the years. I've had really good luck with them, especially for the price point. I'm also not shooting them like 20,000 rounds a piece, so I haven't gotten one to the point where it's starting to keyhole yet. I think most of mine are averaging from 1,000 to like 4,000 rounds on them at this point, because I have quite a few of them and they kind of get rotated through. So I don't have longevity that maybe some other guys are getting out of theirs. So take that for what it is. I like them for that budget mindset and the taper profile, the pin gas block. I like the features they come with for the price. They're just, good barrels for what they are. This is my first of the premium series. This is the black version. So it's QPQ coated, they claim, corrosion resistance coated. I'm pretty sure that's just another flavor of saying it's nitrided. So it's a stainless steel 416R barrel, has a nitride coating to it. I don't know if that's really going to extend the lifespan of the stainless. Usually stainless barrels are meant for precision, not necessarily for lifespan or round count. So we'll see. I'm hoping this thing gets some good groups. I've had good luck with just the standard, I think it's the Performance Series Hanson. I could have the wrong name for that. I know they have a few different tiers. Basically just explains what barrel steel and or coating they have. I have a bunch of the nitrided barrels that they have that would technically be one like price tier lower than these. Again, they're still all kind of budget minded barrels, so take that for what it is. Well, we're going to test this with a couple different types of ammo. I think I have 75 grain Hornady Frontier, 75 grain AAC, which is a Hornady bullet as well. I have 69 grain ADI, that's the Sierra Match King round, and I have just some 55 grain Federal XM193 just to see how it does with that. So I'll be testing those 4 rounds out, doing 5-round groups, 100 yards from the prone, and just seeing what this thing can do today. Again, I have not done any group testing on this specific barrel yet. It only has those 215 rounds on it. So just going to see what it can do. I know I'm only going to do one group per round for now. I'll do future testing on this. This is more of me just getting a taste of what the barrel can do without having to spend, you know, a couple $100 on ammo. Keep this trip a little bit cheaper. So I know you guys get it. We're all on a budget. But anyway, let's get to the testing. All right, for this test, obviously the 16-inch Black Series Hanson. On the front, I have a Dead Air Sandman K. That's been modified to run on Plan B mounts. Awesome setup. And just a simple rifle. Got a LaRue MBT 2-stage trigger in it. Real good trigger for the money. I'll be doing a AR trigger video coming up, so that'll be pretty cool. And I'm running just the Primariums 2.5 to 10 on it. Discontinued. Hopefully they're going to be releasing a new version of this year. We'll see. I know they're going to be coming out with their new models or new catalog for this year shortly, in a couple days actually. So by the time you watch this video, there may be a new version of the scope out there, hopefully. But it is the BDC version. So pros and cons to that. If you're really into precision shooting, might not be the reticle for you. If you want more of a hasty reticle that you can use at distance for bigger targets and then still be able to dial for more precise shots, the BDC is kind of cool from that mindset. If you are more of a PRS or like a gas gun match kind of shooter, you might benefit more from having the actual mill-based version of this reticle. I know those were kind of hard to get for a while, so hopefully Primary Arms comes back out with that version. I don't mind the BDC reticle for what I do with this gun, being it's more of a general purpose rifle. So is what it is. Also, I may have already said 100 yards. I'm just shooting a little 1-inch pasties. This is not the perfect optic for doing group tests on a barrel. It only is 10x. It's more than fine for what I'm doing, and it is the optic that lives in this rifle. So for me, it's just testing the whole platform as it is. But technically, if I wanted to be a little more precise to test this barrel, I probably should throw like a 16 power or something on here. So just that is what it is. There'll be a little bit of variable of maybe me interacting with this reticle. Could affect the group size a little bit. I think we'll be okay to still see what this barrel can do. And again, it's for testing of me as this whole platform, not just the barrel. Anyway. All right, guys, first up is going to be this 75 grain AAC. You can get this through Palmetto State Armory. It's kind of my go-to right now for a heavier grain round that I can get pretty readily. It's always in stock over there for a good price too, anywhere from 55 cents up to 65 cents a round. That's a really good price for a 75 grain projectile. They're running Hornady bullets in them. For the money, I'm really liking them. So it's something easy to practice with. You're not, you know, spending Black Hills money where you're spending over $1 a round. I like these for the price. So far, I've had really good luck with them. So we'll see how that does and in this barrel. So 5 rounds with the 75 grain AAC. I did shoot a kind of a zero confirmation group. So this thing has at least, the barrel has some warmth to it. It's not cold bore. So I wanted the test to kind of be standardized across each of the groups. I'm only going to wait a little bit between ammos because it is cold out here. So I don't think that'll affect it much, being that over a 20 round string, it shouldn't get too hot to start opening groups up. It's a heavier barrel, so I'm not too worried about it, but that is technically a variable that I'm kind of ignoring in a way. But I did shoot a confirmation group just to make sure it was on enough for the test, because this is a new setup. I haven't really fine-tuned the zero on this yet because I'm just still testing it out. So anyway, the barrel isn't cold bore for this test. Let's do it. All right, so this one's going to be the dead center of the target because I got 5 pasties on there. So I'll check my cant. All right, cool. So yeah, I absolutely love these optics for what they offer me feature-wise. To me, this is like and I've kind of talked about this in other videos, and if you see my 2.5 to 10 primary arms video, go check it out if you're interested in getting one. This version is discontinued, so it's, you know, it is what it is at this point. But I absolutely love the eye box on these. It's like, the eye relief is like never ending. These things are great. So for actually running a rifle setup like this as a general purpose, I love getting behind this optic. It just works for hasty firing solutions, for rapid engagements, for shooting closer targets at 2.5x, and I still can stretch to 10x out at distance. But to me, this optic is kind of like a 2.5x to 10x prism, right? I don't know if that makes sense to you guys off the start, but it runs like a 2.5x prism that has crazy eye relief. Because if you know anything about the primary arms old like 2.5x prism, the downside to that was, one, it's only 2.5x, but the eye relief eye box on it was horrible. This thing is amazing from that standpoint, but then I can also tune it to whatever magnification I want between 2.5 and 10, and it has a really nice reticle in there that acts as like a prism style BDC reticle for me. So it's awesome. It isn't, however, in my opinion, a precision reticle. The chevrons are cool. I get the point. For precision applications, I like having a crosshair with like a fine dot in the middle, something like that. I really like that Arkin 4-16 I have as far as being precise for shooting groups, that sort of thing, because the reticle's designed for that. These chevrons are awesome in this, but there is some to be desired when it comes to doing groups. I don't care so much because that's not what I focus my shooting on, is shooting tight groups. But there is some relevance to being able to do that and shooting at distance. So it is important to some extent. But anyway, just want to get that kind of out of the way. All right, next up is this Hornady Frontier 75 grain. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is running the same Hornady bullet as the AAC. They're both running Hornady. I don't know if there's any specification differences between them, but sorry, it's hard to do this when my hands are cold with gloves on. I don't know if there's anything difference between them. The price is somewhat similar. These are definitely a little bit more expensive and not as easy to get, because I find that Palmetto almost always has the 75 grain in stock. So I like these as well. I got a bunch of this stuff. It was my go-to for a long time for the price. All right, 75 grain. Check my cant. This is going to be the top right target. All right. Group looks okay. Didn't feel like my best trigger presses. We'll find out when I get down there. All right. Next up, 69 grain ADI. So it's Australian Defence Industries, I believe. I've got this through Global Ordnance, I believe. That's kind of the go-to for this stuff. Again, good budget price point, heavier round. The 69 grains just shoot really well in a lot of guns. I think this is a little bit more anemic, a little bit slower of a round for that load. From testing I've seen other guys do, and from my experience shooting at a distance, but really accurate, especially for groups. Really good stuff. I like this stuff a lot. All right, 69 grain. This will be lower left target. All right. All right. And last and certainly least, this is just 55 grain federal. I think this is actually, it's XM193, but it's an old Israeli version. I think I got back in the no ammo days of the Obama era, back in like some 2012 or something like that. Back then when you couldn't get any ammo. So this is some XM193. Yeah, I don't know if it was IDI or something like that. Israeli Defense Industries. The blue label, Independence ammo, maybe that's what it was. So this stuff's pretty old. It's like 14 years, 15 years old. Nothing wrong with that. Just saying I've had it for a long time. But, all right, 55 grain XM193. Definitely not a precise round, but a lot of guys are going to shoot this. So it's nice to know what it can do with this at 100 yards. This will be the lower right. So I can't really see that group too well from here, from where I'm at. Hopefully it's not horrendous. XM193 is never accurate. Relatively speaking, it's not a precision round at all. I mean, it's, you're lucky if you get like 2 MOA out of it. But I just realized there is a branch, like a teeny tiny stick that I could see in my optic that I may or may not have nicked on the way. I'm just shooting on a kind of a new spot, last video or two, that I wanted to get a nice 100-yard spot that's a little bit new to me. I haven't done a lot of range work here. Again, not to make excuses, but to be honest, I think I definitely smacked the stick on the way. And that's my bad on that. All right, let's go check them out. All right, we'll talk about these real quick. So this group right here, guys, and I apologize, I completely forgot my tape measure, so bear with me on that. I know I'm a rookie at this. But this group here was actually cold bore shot right here. These were the 4 other shots in that group. This was off camera. Got down here, just wanted to quick test it. It was with the AAC 75 grain. Just wanted to kind of get a quick group to make sure this was on paper. This gun is not fine-tuned zeroed for this yardage. So don't worry about that. I wasn't trying to make sure every round was in these circles. It was more so to see what kind of groups this gun was getting. But kind of interesting shift here. That was cold. And then these were the 4 follow-up shots. So that's, a data point of 1, but just something you guys might want to see. These 4 are about a 1-inch group. You add them both together, they're probably just under 2 inches there. If you add the cold bore in, obviously that's what I do. 5 rounds, that's what you shoot. I don't take away flyers. I think that's kind of a bad habit that guys get into. I absolutely have affected these groups because we all input human error. Not only a combination of me actually shooting the gun, but also the equipment. As far as am I using the best standard for an optic for precision group testing? No, absolutely not. I think I might have talked about that on camera up there. Whether I edited it out or not, I don't know. I'll re-talk about it now for a second. The primary arms 2.5 to 10, fantastic optic. It is my favorite general purpose optic, but it is not, in my opinion, intended to be a precision group type of optic. It's just not made for that. That chevron that people claim is kind of infinite as far as an aiming point. In my opinion, it's not really true. I don't mind the chevron as a center aiming point, but it isn't quite as precise as a thin crosshair with a dot, like a floating dot in the center for me, because that chevron is kind of challenging to tell exactly where that point is on the target, depending on the target color and size, that sort of thing. But anyway, again, not excuses, just talking about the variables. I absolutely could have affected some of these groups. So this is just a data point of me specifically on this day with the equipment I have. So anyway, we'll ignore this guy for right now. That was just another follow-up where I was just shooting off camera. I mean, it still is a group so we can look at it. I think that was the 75 grain Hornady. So I'm going to say that is, you know, 1.5 inches probably for those 5 rounds, but that was off camera. They weren't the ones I was shooting for you guys. This right here was my first group for the test specifically. That was that 75 grain Palmetto State Armory AAC ammo. Good group. That's under 1 inch. Nice and tight. I don't have any weird flyers. So I can say I probably shot that one pretty steadily. So I'm happy with that. Again, I apologize for not having some kind of measuring tape for you guys. You can see these are 1 inch squares, or roughly 1 inch squares. So it gives you some reference point there. Right here, I believe I moved on. This was the actual 75 grain Hornady for the test. Again, not a horrible group. Whether or not I affected some of these, again, we're never going to know. It looks like I'm over 1 inch, maybe 1.25 inches, but I'm okay with it for the testing right now. This was the 69 grain from ADI. So a little bit wide. That was probably me. I'm assuming that one on the left was a flyer caused by myself, but doesn't matter. It looks like it was probably about an, you know, 1.5 inches, 1.75, something like that. And then this was the 55 grain XM193. This one, there definitely was a stick in the way that I could see through the reticle. This is just like a new, like, rough spot in the woods that I'm shooting. I just kind of cleared out a quick section, laser range found it to 100 yards, and then shot. And I've been using it the last couple of times. I really need to clear a few branches that are kind of in the way. It's kind of an awkward spot that I'm shooting, but it's kind of fun. But anyway, I may or may not have clipped a branch on the way. Still about the group size that I kind of find myself getting with XM193. It is not made to be a precision round. So that is 2.5 inches, probably from this one to this one, a little more than 2.5 inches, 2.75 maybe. So it's kind of what's expected from that round. So if you find a barrel that shoots XM193 like a tack driver, you got kind of a unicorn from my experience. But anyway, that's just one quick test on this barrel. I know it's only 5 rounds, or maybe an extra group, because I kind of showed you guys my other groups, per type of round. So it's not really that much of a longevity test. I will continue to test this barrel and let you guys know some feedback in the future. I like these Ballistic Advantage Hanson barrels for what they are. If I was going to be building a gas gun type rifle and I really wanted sub MOA all the time, precision gun, it's probably not going to be my choice. It's going to be something like a Criterion or something else, maybe a White Oak Armory type of barrel. There's a lot of other barrel companies if I was looking for just an accurate SPR barrel. For a general purpose barrel, such as this one, this is kind of what I expect and what I'm good with, especially if I can kind of maintain this level of accuracy out of like that 75 grain AAC ammo. Again, because the price point on that is barely more than 55 grain XM193. So if I can hold any decent accuracy and actually push that out at distance being a 75 grain, I'm more than happy with that type of accuracy out of a gun. All right, guys, I really appreciate you watching all the way through. I know this is kind of just a quick video on how this gun groups in the moment. It was kind of something I wanted to check for myself, so it was my personal interest. I figured I'd bring you guys along, make a quick video out of it. I really appreciate you. If you want to support the channel, please consider hitting that thumbs up, that like button really helps. Comment down below. I really enjoy reading it. Share it with your buddies, and subscribe if you're not already. If you want to support us in another way, you can check out our website, link down in the description. My wife and I have a small business. We make handmade rifle slings, sling retention straps such as this, and we make holster leg straps as well. A few other goodies coming down the pipeline. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate your support. I'm gonna go get warmed up because my hands are cold. Till next time, guys, get out and train.